United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres has publicly backed Nigeria's bid for a permanent seat on the United Nations Security Council and applauded the country's recent economic reforms and leadership role in regional security. Nigerian officials said following a high-level meeting at the 39th African Union Summit in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia. Guterres made the remarks during a bilateral meeting with Vice President Kashim Shettima on 14 February 2026, held on the sidelines of the summit. He described Nigeria as uniquely positioned to lead Africa in shaping a restructured global order, citing the nation's large population, democratic continuity, natural and human resources, and long-standing commitment to multilateralism as assets. Let's deepen the discussion now as Professor David Aworawo, Professor of International Relations and Strategic Studies, University of Lagos, UNILAG, joins us on the program. Good morning, and you're most welcome to the morning show.
Morning, Prof.
Good morning, Ayo.
Morning,
happy
Prof.
to be here.
Morning,
you.
Prof. Bless you, Prof.
Professor Aworawo,
Morning.
good morning.
Morning.
Good to see you again. After yesterday.
Good morning, Dr. Abati.
Good to see you. Well, very quickly. Very quickly. Antonio Guterres says he backs Nigeria's interest in a permanent seat on the UN Security Council. That's good to hear. But we've been on this issue for decades, and there are other interested parties in Africa, Egypt particularly, South Africa also. But we imagine the argument has been that Africa deserves more than one permanent seat on that Security Council. But is it something that Nigeria can stage a song and dance about, considering the fact that UN reform is not something that can be declared by fiat by the UN Secretary General? It's a very long process, but of what significance is this? Guterres saying, oh, okay, I support Nigeria.
Yes, it is very, very significant. You need this kind of support for you to be able to achieve anything on the international scale. So it is something we should sing and dance about, because if you don't have that kind of support, your bid will be could be truncated midway. And so I'm also particularly interested in the comments he made. He said Nigeria is uniquely positioned. That is indisputable. Nigeria is uniquely positioned, a country with a fourth of all black men, globally, can only be uniquely positioned. So that is very correct. Of course, you can't declare by fiat. So Nigeria also needs to do a whole lot to be able to match what it wants with, reaction, because, of course, other competitors are there. South Africa is there, Egypt is there. Some other even smaller players are also there who say, oh, they too could, emerge as Africa's representative at the UN Security Council when the UN reforms eventually is consummated. So it is positive, but there's a whole lot to do within the country for that to be realized.
All right, so let me ask you, what are the things to be done? Further to your response, I say this because, yes, Nigeria is positioned to lead Africa's push for global reform, but it doesn't seem as if we've hit it yet. So what are some of the things that we ought to be doing? And maybe what are some of the restrictions that has stopped us so far, and how can we overcome them?
What needs to be done are legion. First are internal dynamics, internal issues that need to be addressed. A country's ability to influence on the global scale is almost always directly proportional to its internal structure and its level of power. There is no doubt that Nigeria has gone down in terms of, if you look at all the indices of power since the 1980s, we picked up in the early 2000s, and we again went down after a decade or so. So many internal contradictions to be sorted. First is the economy. In 2015, Nigeria's GDP was about 500 billion. It has come down to 300 something billion. That shows that we haven't gone up, we went down. So many things within the country that will need to be sorted out. Industrial development is very low, almost comatose. But we are happy that a few weeks ago, a new industrial policy was launched, which aims to revive abandoned factories, and they also hopes to expand and they use the cluster system to be able to ensure that industrial development expands. Agriculture is also, we're making some progress along that line. There's a whole lot that needs to be done within. And then insecurity. The level of insecurity is frightening. Trillions and trillions of naira will be spent in the years to come to be able to successfully overcome it. And when you're unstable within, you can't do much in projecting power on the outside. Of course, at the international scale too, we need to be more assertive. In 2011, I was part of a committee that was to recommend new foreign policy. I was a rapporteur for that committee in Abuja. And I recall that Professor Ibrahim Gambari made a lot of issues that now others speak for Africa because Nigeria is silent. And he said, one African head of state president told him that. And he said, lack of vision and lack of will are the reasons why Nigeria has not been assertive on the global scale, beyond its internal structure. That too needs to be addressed. Nigeria needs to be more assertive. Nigeria needs to stand up wherever anything that affects Africa takes place, and then stand for Africa. These are the things we can aggregate and put together that will place Nigeria at the right place and the right condition to be able to pick up that permanent seat on the UN Security Council when the reforms are carried out.
Professor, God bless you. Good to see you again. Good to talk to you. Prof, is it with the quality of leaders that we have that we are going to do all of these things you just mentioned? We'll be more assertive. Who wants to be more assertive as a representation of Nigerian leadership with the kind of crop you see today? Who? You said the early 2000s. You had somebody like Obasanjo that was on slapping hand basis with President of America, with G7 leaders. Where's the leadership with the charisma today? Is he with this leadership going to be more assertive? Secondly, you can't do all of this thing, Prof, when your domestic policy is not good. We can't form budget locally. Just imagine. You want to go and lead global reform on health globally, where out of the capital project for your health budget of over 200 billion, you could just only bring 36 million. Prof, are we not just talking to the air with all of this we are talking? Is it not just aspirational talk?
No, we are not just talking to the air. The people who lead Nigeria today, they do not lack the capacity. The statements and comments that Professor Ibrahim Gambari made in 2011 are real. Lack of will, lack of vision. We need to get, what we need to do very clear. And of course, we need to have the will to be able to, follow it up. We've done so many things that we didn't do right. For instance, the issue in Niger, I was really shocked that ECOWAS as a body and then Nigeria, with all the experts we have, they couldn't get the ECOWAS and the president to know that the threat of military action against Niger for a government that a coup that was very successful. I was really surprised that anybody had the illusion that was going to work. And when you make a threat and you can't carry it through, your power is diminished. So yes, we can be. It's true that what we had in the early 2000s with Obasanjo in the saddle, we don't have anything near that now in terms of charisma, in terms of ability, in terms of capacity, in terms of commitment. But we can only be optimistic. When we say these things, we say them to galvanize those who are in power now to be able to see and know what to do. I don't think that we do not have, the people to be able to do it. For instance, in the 70s, Joe Garba, he was all over the place. He was not the head of state at the time, but he was just larger than life. And his contribution to decolonization and end of apartheid in Africa almost unquantifiable. So the government to getting the right people to be able to assist in getting these things done is also very crucial.
Prof,
Yes.
you are talking about, let me
go
there with you, Prof. Prof, you are talking about the likes of Joe Garba. You are talking about the likes of Adifo Okbe. Which people have the stature of those people? Likes of the Adifo Okbe, Joe Garba. Mention them now, Prof. You see, you are laughing. You know I'm saying the truth. You are laughing,
No, we
Prof.
still have. For instance, I'm here. Professor Kimboye is there.
You are not serving the government.
Professor is there.
You are not
so
serving the
many of us are there. Professor Saga is there at NIA.
Prof, you are not serving the government. You are
the
not
government
serving
only
the
needs to look for us.
Yeah, well,
No. I mean, the people who have done well in government were not always in government. Okonjo-Iweala, Adesina were not always in government. The government looked for them. And that is one mistake this government is making by saying that everything must be party. When it's everything party, you fill the place with mediocres and you make no progress. You must seek those who have the ability and capability from wherever you can find them and bring them to come and achieve. That is how these things are done. The Adefo didn't fall from heaven. Yes. They were sought out from here.
That's right.
That is what government should do, and
That's
that is what this government is not doing enough. And that is why we continue to insist that this government must bring in those with ability and capability to move Nigeria forward beyond this level we are. I mean, they are there.
Thank you so much.
I mean, they are just all over the place.
They are.
The government just
hasn't
hasn't looked for them
Yes.
to be able to come on board to, yes.
Well, if they need your address, they can ask me, Professor David Aworawo, because like you mentioned, you're ready and willing to serve.
I'm not marketing myself. I'm just saying that.
No.
I mean, it will be inappropriate for me to mention others international relations. I'm not mentioning myself.
Of course.
Yeah, we have the ability, we have the commitment.
Don't worry, Prof. I'm not accusing you.
Why not?
I'm not accusing you of marketing yourself. It's
Right
just
on,
what the
Prof.
fact is, and you've hit it spot on. You don't have to be a politician to contribute significantly to the government, and that's what you just said, and rightly well said. Thank you so much for your time with us this morning.